Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today, we have the immense privilege of speaking with Neville Goddard himself. Neville, thank you so much for joining us.
It's truly my pleasure, Thea. Happy to be here.
Neville, your work has touched countless lives, including my own, profoundly. People often hear about your extraordinary journey, particularly your time with Abdullah, your teacher. But I want to start a little differently today. What was it about you at that time, your state of being, that made you ready to meet Abdullah and truly apply his teachings? What was the internal landscape like before that pivotal first encounter?
That's a wonderful question, Thea, and it goes right to the heart of things, doesn't it? I don't think I felt ready in the conventional sense. In fact, I was quite forgetful of the being that I truly am, which, looking back, was entirely necessary for the part I was to play. I was immersed in the world, in the human experience, and like many, I was seeking something, though I couldn't quite articulate what it was.
So, you weren't actively searching for a spiritual teacher or a mystic at that precise moment?
Not explicitly. My mind was perhaps more concerned with the day-to-day challenges and ambitions of a young man in New York, but there was an underlying current, a yearning for understanding, for something beyond the superficial. I'd been told about Abdullah by a friend, a Catholic priest actually, whom I dearly loved but honestly didn't hold in very high regard regarding his judgment in practical matters. He had, shall we say, a knack for losing money. So when he spoke of Abdullah, I confess, I postponed going. I found excuses, for 6 months.
6 months? That's quite a delay. So what finally made you go?
It was simply that I ran out of excuses. One day, I just couldn't find a reason not to go. And that's when the real journey began. I walked into the room where he was speaking, and when his speech concluded, he walked straight over to me, extended his hand, and said, "Neville, you are 6 months late." I was utterly stunned. I'd never seen the man before in my life.
That must have been quite a shock. To be called by name by a complete stranger who then tells you you're late for an appointment you didn't even know you had.
Precisely. I asked him, "How do you know me?" And his reply was even more astonishing. He said, "The brothers told me that you were coming and you are 6 months late." I was still reeling, trying to make sense of it. Then he looked at me with those piercing eyes and said, "Oh, yes, you do, but you have forgotten. We were together in China thousands of years ago. But you promised to completely forget. In order to play the part you must play now."
Wow, that's mind-boggling. To hear something like that from someone you've just met, it speaks to a profound spiritual connection that transcends this lifetime.
Indeed, and what's remarkable is how these deeper truths sometimes echo in the present. Just recently, a lady wrote to me, sharing an experience she had during one of my lectures. She said that for the entire duration, she didn't see me as Neville, but as an ancient Chinese philosopher. It bothered her, this sustained vision, until she remembered a psychic experience years prior, where she was led by an ancient Chinese figure to a cave, where symbolic acts of creation and life took place. She concluded, "Now I know whose face you wore last Monday night."
That's incredible. A direct validation of what Abdullah told you. It's like the universe conspiring to remind you of these ancient connections.
It is, and it simply reinforces what Abdullah impressed upon me, that I swore in the beginning to empty myself completely of all memory, to take on the form of a slave, to fully immerse myself in the human play, but always with faith in the one who sent me. And now, knowing that the sender and I are one, there's nowhere else to go but back to myself. This journey, this play, is about remembering who we truly are after playing every conceivable part.
So, your readiness wasn't about being fully enlightened or perfectly prepared, but perhaps more about hitting a point where your conscious mind was finally open enough to receive what your deeper self already knew and arranged?
Exactly. It was a divine appointment, delayed by my human judgment, but an appointment nonetheless. The readiness was in the underlying design, the play I was to enact. Abdullah merely brought it to my conscious attention. He was the catalyst, the living mirror, reflecting back a truth I had temporarily forgotten.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And for those listening who might feel a similar yearning or perhaps feel late themselves, what would you say characterized Abdullah as a teacher? What was his presence like?
Ah, Abdullah. If I were to name one man I consider my teacher, it would undoubtedly be him. I studied with that gentleman for 5 years. He was a mystical Ethiopian rabbi, a man of profound wisdom and unwavering conviction. He was black as the ace of spades, as I often describe him, and incredibly proud of his heritage. He never wanted any modification of what God had made him, and would never allow anyone to refer to him as a colored man. He was simply Abdullah, proud of his race, proud of his being.
That speaks to such strength and self-acceptance. What was the core of his teaching that resonated most deeply with you, something that shifted your entire perspective?
His fundamental teaching, the one that truly changed everything for me, was this: there is no cause outside of the arrangement of your own mind. Think about that for a moment, Thea. No external factor, no circumstance, no other person holds the ultimate power over your reality. It is all, every single bit of it, an outpicturing of your internal state. The assumptions you hold, the beliefs you entertain, the feelings you foster within your own consciousness.
That's incredibly empowering, but for some, it might also feel like a heavy burden. If everything is from my mind, then am I responsible for every negative thing that happens too?
It's not about blame, Thea, but about power. It's not a burden, it's liberation. Once you truly grasp this, you realize you are not a victim of circumstance, but the creator of it. And yes, that means what you've unconsciously assumed you've experienced. But the beauty is, what you can unconsciously create, you can consciously revise. You can consciously choose what you wish to experience.
So, then, for our listeners today, Neville, what would you tell them to do right now to begin applying this profound truth taught by Abdullah? What's the immediate practical steps someone can take?
The very first thing, the most crucial step, is to become aware of your inner conversations, your assumptions, and your feelings. Most people go through their day reacting to what they perceive outside them. They are constantly engaging in conversations with themselves, often negative ones, about what is happening or what could go wrong. Stop that. Begin to observe these inner dialogues. Are they serving you? Are they aligning with the life you truly desire?
So, it starts with self-awareness, tuning into the silent whispers of our own mind.
Precisely. And once you're aware, the next step is to consciously choose to shift those inner conversations. If you desire something, live in the feeling of already having it. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's imaginative appropriation. Abdullah taught me that. Imagine the conversation you would be having if your wish were already fulfilled. How would you feel? What would you be saying to yourself or to a friend?
So, it's not just thinking about the desired outcome, but thinking from the desired outcome.
Exactly, Thea, you've hit the nail on the head. Thinking from the end. When you think from the end, you inhabit that state. You feel the reality of it. It becomes your dominant assumption. For example, if you desire a new job, don't just visualize yourself getting an offer. Instead, imagine you're already at the new job, talking to a colleague about how wonderful it is, or telling a friend over the phone about your first week. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of that fulfilled wish.
And this feeling aspect, that seems to be key for you. It's not just a mental exercise.
Right. The feeling is everything. It's the language of the subconscious, the medium through which your imagination creates. A mere mental picture without feeling is like a seed without soil. It may exist, but it won't bear fruit. You must impress your subconscious with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live in that state as if it were fact, even if your outer senses contradict it. Persist in it.
What about when doubts creep in, when the external reality seems to scream the opposite of your desired state?
Persistence is crucial there. Abdullah would insist on it. The world outside is merely a reflection of your former assumptions. It lags behind. When doubts arise, simply return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Go back to that inner conversation, that vivid scene, that feeling of it is done. Don't fight the doubt, simply don't give it your attention. Return to the desired state. It's like an actor rehearsing a part. He doesn't question if he's really the character. He just feels the part and imagines himself as the character.
So, it's about choosing your inner reality over the perceived outer one, consistently.
Precisely. And remember, the journey of playing every part, as I was told, leads ultimately to the full realization of the being that you truly are. You are imagining yourself into every part, and when this particular play is over, the signs will come to show you the being that you really are. So every conscious act of imagination, every assumption of the wish fulfilled, is not just about manifesting a desired outcome in this world, but about remembering your divine nature.
That's a powerful connection, Neville. So it's not just about getting what you want, but about understanding who you are in the process of getting it.
Indeed, and it's a journey everyone is on, whether they know it or not. The difference lies in whether you travel unconsciously, reacting to your past assumptions, or consciously, deliberately shaping your future from the inside out. Abdullah opened my eyes to this conscious creation. He showed me the absolute power of the imagination, and that our imagination is God. It's the creative power within us all.
What about those who might feel that this is too simple, or too esoteric? How would you encourage them to take that first leap of faith in their own imagination?
I'd tell them to simply test it. Don't believe me, believe your own experience. Pick something small, something you desire but wouldn't be devastated if it didn't immediately appear. Practice feeling the reality of having it. Experience it in your imagination until it feels natural, and then let go, knowing that the seed has been planted. Observe what happens. The results will be your greatest teacher. Your own experiences will affirm the truth of what Abdullah taught me, that your consciousness is the only reality, and your imagination is the power of creation.
That's excellent advice. Start small, experiment, and let your own experience be the proof. It demystifies it and makes it accessible. Neville, this has been such an illuminating conversation. Thank you for sharing your profound insights and your personal journey with Abdullah. It truly inspires us to look within.
My pleasure, Thea. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and your imagination is the way in. Go forth and imagine gloriously.
Thank you, Neville, and thank you to all our listeners for joining us today. Until next time, keep exploring the incredible power of your own mind.